Hello, this is Master Luke Chen. So today we want to talk about Qigong and Tao Te Ching. But anyway, in Qigong there's a point or stillness, the movement. So when you, for example, when you the wall, the middle finger don't move, and then you force your shoulder, elbow, hand all move in a circle. So this point doesn't move. So don't move the hands up and down, but one point doesn't move. But of course that's in your mind, but actually when you're doing actually, sometimes it moves because it's very difficult to fix it. But the whole idea is try to, one point doesn't move, this point. And in Tai Chi, of course, then, for example, you're doing the single whip, so the point here don't move, that point doesn't move, and then move the rest of the body. And this relatively in the space doesn't move. So the and then eventually, and this is the fix. The head, top of your head don't move. So some people doing Tai Chi underneath a table, so the whole body. So if you move, just hit your head. So to at the Zheneng Qigong Center, sometimes when I was there, watch some of the teachers, they walk like they have a book on their head, stationary, like the head touches sky. So it's stationary, but this is stationary point relative to your coccyx is straight line there. So you cannot move top of your head anywhere you want it, but it's relatively stable, that point. And then that is by relaxation. So you need to relax your body in order to achieve the stationary or the point sensation. So you you always hit the point here. You don't drop it. So that's a very important aspect of it. So you move your shoulder, but that point doesn't move. The coccyx, the tailbone, the sensor, the huiyin always point to the earth, so always relax. So that's the idea, and then straight line and going on. All right. So that's the other point. And then when you're doing bend body arch back, when you're going down, you fix an area you focus on. For me, I focus on the back, the shoulder blades there, that point. So we're going up like this. So I'm pulling up, thinking about here, and then going down. And then when I go up, I think of the Mingmen area. That point doesn't move. don't move it, but relatively fix your Mingmen area, and then imagine the point, focus on there, and then you move the body up. And then when you move the body down, think of the shoulder blade, that point, the area that you're going down, up. So you always release, absorb, and then you always a part of the body you're working on, just like bend body arch back. For me, you can have different points, but most important is the middle dantian in the back, and then the lower dantian with the Mingmen area. That's why I focus on these two points. But again, so when you're doing the release, absorb, going on, and then normally you're stationary, the head. So even though you're moving, but that point relative, your tailbone there is stationary. The straight line, so the straight line is moving. The straight line is moving. So you're moving a lot, but relatively. So this hand relative, your body don't move. So just like Tai Chi, don't move. But looks like, so you can isolate your body by fixing, relaxing. And again, the most important point is relaxing. Just drop it, like you're hanging on. Just drop it, hanging on. This point, we call the, you can call it point or stillness point. So everything let go, like just pulling up everything go. And then this point, this balancing point, of course the point is within our the center of gravity there, the sensation. But again, the idea is the rest is turning, but one point doesn't turn. Just like a typhoon, hurricane, so you see from the space, you see everything turns except the middle doesn't turn. So that's the corresponding to our movements. And then in Tao Te Ching, chapter 42, 16, they all talk about quietness and then motion, the yin and yang concept. But chapter 42 also said yin and yang, but there's yin yang turning, but middle there's a point. 3 is the chi or the center filled with chi for harmony. So yin yang turning, but the center is the harmonious chi. Sometimes we call it he chi. So actually it's 3 things: yin yang, and then the middle is 1. So it's so if you see the pattern, the inside is turning. So it's the 2 pattern is one dynamic Tai Chi pattern, the other one is static Tai Chi pattern. So when we start to doing it, so it's dynamic because you move yin yang in the center. So even though your hands moving, but one point doesn't move, but your hands release, absorb doing it, one point does not move. This point is the center. But you are doing the yin yang thing, but meanwhile you have the center. So these are 3 things are involved. Okay. So but anyway, that's the deeper led you to relaxation in another layer when you keep one point still while the rest is moving. The rest also moving according to the yin yang pattern, but only the center doesn't move. Then suddenly you realize, whoa, you're totally relaxed at all time, but meanwhile you're very active. The yin yang, the rotating, very active, but meanwhile you're sitting down there. But anyway, all right, love yourself, love others, love nature is the essence of Tao. I love you from Yang So.